Did you hear Siri? That's the new update. I finally updated my Zoom. All right. Good evening, guys. Tonight is Team Call Tuesday. I am so stinking excited to have Maddie on tonight. She's going to give us some tough love, show us all about social media, all the things you guys have been asking for. But before we jump into that, I just want to let you guys know a few things this week that are happening. We have our flash sale that is kicking off Thursday. But anything that happens this week, they can get added in there. So make sure, one, you're in the group in Diesel Nation. Two, you do not just add everyone to the flash sale. Make sure you are talking about it on your stories and your social media and say, like, do you want the link to add yourself? Or you can send them the link and have them add themselves, and then you can tag them in a welcome post. But do not send that link to 1,000 people, okay? Because then when they say, who's your coach? And it's me, I'm gonna kick your butt. It's just to help, regulate who's in the sale. Okay, so flash sale going down, that's super huge. They're giving away a Theragun, Amazon gift cards, all the things. So it's a great time to get your people in and keep momentum and hitting Success Club. Those that hit Success Club this month will earn a live workout with Jericho, which is also super awesome. So if you haven't hit Success Club yet, which we'll go over in a minute, you're gonna wanna get on the books for that. So last but not least, also Thursday, because we like to do everything all in one and just slam it at you, is our sneak peek. So don't forget Team Sneak Peek. I hope you're inviting to it. It will be on this amazing link as everything is. 6 p.m. Thursday night, Kristen and I are hosting that one. And then each week we will switch out with a new leader. So awesome, awesome, awesome stuff going down on that. I'm going to quickly share my screen because I have some fun recognition. As long as the internet holds out, you guys know what I got, what I'm working with. Okay, so this week's top volume earners, it's so awesome that Maddie's on. She'll be able to see. These are our top 10, you guys. I love to see all these faces. I love to see new coaches show up on our top 10. So look at you beautiful people that I get to work with. So stinking exciting. Great job on volume. Success Club, you guys, this list continues to freaking grow. And by the way, I pull our report on Friday. So if you've hit or had anything added in since Friday, forgive me. There's only so much time in a day to do this, but look at all these names. I absolutely love to see new names on this, and look at how many are on the board that have probably never been on there before. That means we're growing. That means we're doing what we're supposed to. We're helping change lives. We're rank advancing. We're doing all the things that really make our job just totally worth it, right? Look at this. Teresa down here. We got Barb. Look at it. I love it. Shay's back on the board. Nick, I see him in the background. He's on the board. Tasha, love it, guys. And you're so stinking close because retention points are still going on this month. So that means you can still hit Success Club with just helping 2 people. And way to go, Caitlin Davis. I just saw that one as well. So awesome. Okay, so ranks. We have so many people going Emerald again and doing all the things they're supposed to do. So all of our Emerald leaders, everyone knows that we usually go Emerald to Diamond. We don't, for some reason, our poor Rubies get left out, but absolutely incredible to see people making moves in this business. And these are all the names that are doing that, whether they went Emerald again last week or are holding Diamond or just in enrolling activity. So way to go, week 3 here. All right, and then I know she's not on the call tonight because she has class, but our coach of the week this week, you guys, is Jessica. This girl is doing all the things right now. We all know what she's going through in her life, personal life, but she's also finishing her credentialing for schooling, which I believe is her master's. She is running 2 kids to different T-ball and baseball, while Ryan just got a job with PG&E, so he is actually out of town, and she's handling everything while advancing her business, while holding qualification as Diamond for our 2-star rank advancement. And I just think when you show up and you do the things consistently, like she put on her story today, you earn the accolades and the success that gets you where you need to be in this business. So Jessica, I know that you'll probably watch this recording. I just want you to know that you're killing it and we love you dearly. And I just am so stinking proud of you for continuing to show up through the hard. I don't know if it gets much better than that because she has certainly been through the hard. You guys know it. So
Awesome, bud.
We'll stop the share. Get everybody muted. And then I am gonna announce Miss Maddie. I don't believe she needs a whole lot of introduction because you guys know her. She is part of our downline. She's absolutely amazing. You've all heard from her at one time or another. But I think the most important thing that we have to give her a shout out is one, she works her ass off in this business. She's a hustler, proud to sweat with her, proud to work alongside her, you guys. She is a wealth of knowledge. She also runs and is founder of the Mad Empire, which is a 5-star elite team, ranked 50 freaking 4 in this network of over 400,000 coaches. Like, it literally gives me chills because she does the things. She shows up. She was like, what, 21 when she started this business? Showed up every single day consistently, was like, you moms, I got to get out of your mom group and do my own thing. She figured it out. She treaded through the hard, which is kind of the theme, right? Like, she found her way in this business without modeling what anyone else was doing. She broke the mold and went after it 1,000%. And that is some true grit that I just think goes unrecognized on the daily. She has been in Success Club 10 for 37 months in a row. Like, absolutely insane. Think of that. She's not hit below 10 in 37 stinking months. And she's only been coaching for 3.5 years. So whether you've been coaching forever and you just need to reinvent yourself, do that. Or whether you're brand new and just need to run with it, do that. I think the bottom line is do you. But because I'm sure my internet's gonna lag and I'm doing all that crap with all the internet, who knows what the kids are doing, I'm gonna pass it over so you guys don't have to listen to me glitching out, and I'm gonna let Maddie run us through everything social media and let her show you what a rock star she is. Yay. I love you, babe. Take it away.
I was surprised your internet wasn't glitching. So there we go. Do you mind letting me share my screen by chance? Oh my God, you guys are making me like cry over here. I'm like,
oh, stop.
Huh?
I go, my internet always glitches. So that was just a beautiful thing. Let me get you I'm going to make you.
I know. Okay. You know, what's kind of funny too is like, when I hear someone say like number 54 coach in the network right now or whatever, like I literally sat on my drive home today thinking I'm not doing enough. And like, I'm not going to be like, I like have all these doubts still. Like I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And like, I don't know. I just struggle so hard with like being present sometimes. Like I'm always chasing after the next thing, which is a blessing and a curse. But I think most of you guys kind of know a little bit about my story. A lot of you guys were at in Orlando, but I started at 20 years old, which is insane. My coach was 19. She was even younger than me. And I kind of just stumbled upon what we do. And it kind of has just been the most whirlwind experience through so many different life transitions, as I just bought my first house here in Arizona, which is insane. I'm starting PT school in July, but I was in my undergrad when I started this. And then the last basically 2 years, I've been full-time coaching. I'm kind of nannying full-time while working this business now and then starting school. Like I've just had so many different life transitions, but this has been the one thing that's been super steady. And that's because I've always treated it. As soon as I learned that I could earn a cruise, I was like, this is a job. I'm going to treat it like a job. I'm going to show up to it every single day, no matter what. And if that means I have to show up on social media because that's my storefront, that's what I'm going to do. And a lot of people look at social media as something that's super overwhelming and something that they're like, oh my gosh, gives me anxiety to think about. Everyone starts there, right? Like I had to start Healthy Happy Maddie at 0 followers on private because I was terrified what people were going to think of me. I was going to school in a very small town. I was a college athlete. So like you already have this stigma of like, you need to be perfect and everyone looks up to you. And I was like, but I want to do this. Like, I want to pursue this. So I started that private Instagram. I do not recommend that. I recommend just going on your, like, doing your thing, because you're going to be sharing your brand. It's not just going to be about healthy, happy Maddie. It's going to be about everything that I do in my life. But in that moment of when I started, I had to start there. And so use this overwhelm of what social media is and channel it into, I'm going to learn how to be really freaking good at this because it is my storefront. Our businesses are grown on that social media platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to talk a lot more to Instagram today because I started Instagram like when I was in 8th grade. I know that's kind of crazy, but 8th grade, I had my first Instagram. So like I've had it forever and I've grown up using it. And obviously it's changed so much. I remember the first time you could post a video, it was like the craziest thing on Instagram. So there's so much to learn. It's always changing. Now they're coming out with insights, but I'm going to give you guys kind of a good social media training here. And then I'll leave time for you guys to ask me any questions you have, because I know you guys always ask the best questions. And usually that's really where you can learn as what you need to learn. So again, it's our storefront. So when people come to your page, do they have to like snoop around to figure out what your brand is, what you're trying to accomplish, or is it hitting them in the face? And by that, I don't mean sweaty selfie, like screaming beach body coach. I'm talking about, are you a dog mom, a girlfriend? You like health and fitness. You share healthy recipes. You do have a transformation photo. You kind of entertain them with funny reels or teaching them how to put their lash extensions on. Like, you are there to serve them. And it doesn't have to be, this cookie cutter way. This brand of you can change. When I started, it was all about finding like healthy cocktail recipes, because in college, I was drinking all the time and I was trying to still hit my goals. So I had to find a way to meet my group now. So I've changed over time, but what's always been constant is that health and fitness brand. It's always been there, because every time I share or every time I'm doing something, I have to ask myself, like, am I making a health coach decision? Right? Because sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves. Like on social media, we're sharing our healthy recipes and how we ate on plan. And then we turn off our social media and then we go into the cabinet and grab the Reese's, or we grab the chips and the salsa and the chips and the dip and all the things, but we don't share that on social media. Make sure that you're being transparent on this journey. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. So when you first look at your page, you should kind of see this, but it's super important that your username is super simple. Something that talks to your name, like literally your name. So like Emily.Favre or, Emily.FaverFit, like whatever it is, it's simple and it's to the point that someone can search you. Because sometimes we have these super creative names. I wish I could change mine, but like everyone calls me Healthy Happy Maddie half the time. So like now it's like my brand, but I wish I could just change it to Maddie Maces, because that's what I'm showing up as. I'm not showing up as somebody that's different than who I truly am. And you want your name to be searchable. You also really want a clear profile picture. I love your kids and your kids are super cute, but we keep that for the feed. We want you crystal clear when they see you sending them that DM or their voice memo. We want to know that it's you coming into my inbox. Again, also like a searchable title. And then that effective bio. So who are you here to help, right? I help blank with blank. So that needs to be in your Instagram bio. I help bring hope to the hopeless and help mamas twin with their littles. I empower women to regain time and financial freedom. I'm helping mamas show up for themselves so they can help show up for their families. Helping ex-athletes, busy women, and serial starters fall back in love with themselves one day at a time. And then you have the link to your link tree, or you can do beacons, whatever's easiest. I have a tutorial on that, but that's just simple storefront. When people come to your page, it's your name, super clear. It's who you're here to help. I help blank with blank. And then the link to where they can click to fill out a form, whether it's to your boot camp, coaching, whatever that might look like. Make sure that there's something for them to click on, because there's always going to be the people that are terrified to just send you a direct message for no reason, but they're more likely to click on a link in your bio and fill out a form. That might be something that entices them to actually go for it. So having that for them, that ability, is super important. All right. So aesthetics, right? And I'm gonna just preface this with, when I talk about like having filters on your photos, this is for your grid. This is for when someone shows up and they see the like first 9 photos, you want it to be crystal clear, right? These photos should not be blurry. They shouldn't be a bunch of graphics. It should have good lighting and they should look aesthetic. Yes, they can have words now, like with reels and stuff, but it should still be appealing. Unlike Facebook, where you can scroll and you don't really see someone's pictures all da 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 da. Instagram is for visual appearance. So it's different in that sense. But that doesn't mean you need to filter everything. Someone's like, but I'm like so not into filters. Like I want someone to see who I really am. And that's where we're going to keep it to our Instagram stories, which I'm going to touch on in a second. But your main photos should have good lighting. If you don't feel like you can ask your kid or your husband to take photos, like I love Nick to death, but he takes terrible photos. I use my tripod 9 times out of 10. So I'll just go around my house, find different windows, find different backdrops, and just take a bunch of photos so that during the week when I'm like scrubbing hard and I'm like running around and I'm like, what, I don't have time to put makeup on or a cute outfit, to make this good photo. I have photos in my, my camera roll that I can just quickly upload and then have that thought out caption, that's going to help inspire someone, educate, motivate, all those fun stuff. That's where you're going to have content, or get to a live event. You're always going to have content after that. But really finding time to just on a Sunday create a bunch of photos is going to help your business, because that's number one thing I hear from new coaches. They're like, I don't have photos to post. So in return, I don't post on my social media. And if I don't post on my social media, I can't go find new people. So that's super important. And then I use Lightroom to edit all my photos. I'm not going to give you a Lightroom tutorial because it's kind of confusing. I know Amy Silverman's actually creating one right now. But most of the time when you buy a preset from like Etsy, they're usually pretty cheap and they'll give you instructions. So try and follow those. But once it's like there, it's literally one press and you're good. So you can take a sweaty selfie, tap the filter on it and look less shiny, less red. It's a photo that you could actually post on your grid. I wouldn't necessarily post this because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a little much after a workout. But just knowing how easy it is, it's so important that they all have the same tone when you go to look at your page. I don't know if I kind of deleted a slide, but you can kind of see what I mean. Like, it's not like it's every single photo looks the same, but they all have the same filter so that it kind of cohesively looks, pleasant to the eye, as we would say. So what goes on our Instagram stories? It's the day-to-day, it's the messy actions, it's the flash sale that's coming up. That's what's going to go on our Instagram stories. Those graphics that are appealing to the eye, those are not something you're going to post in your photo grid, right? Maybe you went to TJ Maxx and got an insane deal and you're like, everyone needs to know about this. That goes on your Instagram stories. Or maybe you locked yourself out of the house, or you got a puppy and it's doing something super cute. Like I post Murphy all the time on there. Like he ate a TV remote today. Super funny, not really. But that's like the daily stuff that I'm going to put on my stories so that I can connect with my audience. But we're not going to be able to grow our Instagram from Instagram stories. It's not how it works. You can't search people through Instagram stories. You can search them through their posts using hashtags and reels. We'll talk again about reels, but keep our stories to that messy action, that personality, that someone knows what your voice sounds like. So when you meet them in real life, you can tell like what's their sense of humor. They should be able to tell that from your social media stories. My favorite apps to use for my stories, like if I'm editing a workout video, I always use Splice, like literally every single day. You can speed up the video super easily. It's free. Mojo is kind of fun. You can do different collages. It's very similar to kind of Canva, but it's a little bit more user-friendly on your phone than Canva. And then Unfold is another one that's really good if you're trying to tell a story through graphics. Again, these graphics, these, promos and stuff all go on your stories. They never go on your post. Or even better, maybe when you're talking to someone about what the different sign-up options are, then you send the graphic. Again, I don't normally post like this Beachbody everything all over my stories because I want someone to actually ask me about it. I want them to know that like, no matter if you've had a good experience, bad experience in the past with Beachbody, it's different because now I get to be your coach and now I'm going to help you through this and I'm going to offer you blah, 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 blah. Okay. You are that secret sauce. This is the burning question. Do I have to make reels? And, you know, you get to choose what you want. Like you get to choose how you want to run your business, but this is what's growing your Instagrams in 2021. So I highly, highly recommend Brock 11 Johnson on Instagram. I'm probably the reason why he's growing so fast right now because I can't say enough good things. He's doing these 30-day reels challenges, gives you ideas how you can in turn use them for your business. He's also always using the trending songs, which is super important because those trending songs are what people click on and then they can search and find your reels. If you're using like random songs, they're not normally kind of popping up first. So he's always using them so you don't have to take the time to try and figure out what's trending. It's already done. So I would highly recommend following him right now and then save a couple that you want to use. That's usually what I do. Like I'll set a timer for maybe 10 minutes a day and I'll sit there and I'll watch reels and I'll notice which ones keep popping up. And if they keep popping up, I will save them and then I'll spend some time and like batch create on a Sunday when I have time. Not during the week when I'm like trying to make dinner and like I'm super stressed and then I start to hate social media because I feel like a slave to it. But when I have that time to sit down and kind of be creative. But 7 main things when it comes to Instagram reels. Always share them to your feed. If you're like, oh, I don't want to post this on my feed, I'm just going to put it here, then is that a post that you should even be making in the first place? I used to be that person. I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to share this like weird, like energized dance party on my main feed, but I'll keep it in the reel section. But like, maybe I just keep that to my Instagram stories because it doesn't deserve a spot there because it's not serving someone. But maybe you change it and you put a creative caption that can engage back in your audience and provide value, then that might be something you do share. And you change the cover photo to something that aesthetically will look good on your page and you share it to your feed. Always have a hook to engage the audience. So just back like in 6th grade when you're writing those like crappy essays, they always teach you how to have a hook, bring the audience in. It's super important in reels because somebody decides if they're going to watch your reel within about 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds to captivate them to watch it all the way through. You still get the view like count if they watch it for 3 seconds, but you still want them to like watch it and think it's funny or maybe it helps them in some way. So an example of a hook that, we could use as coaches is how to blank in 10 days, how to, gain motivation in 10 days or how to become happier in 10 days, whatever, like something that could really get that person to be like, wait, I need that in my life. So that's how you're going to be able to hook your audience. Or maybe it's a dance video and you're like wearing something crazy and they're like, what is she doing? Or maybe it's just the audio that hooks people in. Sometimes there's like a good beat and you're like, oh my God, what? Like, I don't even care what that person's doing, but like, I like this song. Also using text transitions, multiple clips kind of pieced together are super important. Those transitions, they sometimes are kind of scary and intimidating, but now there's so many Instagram people like Brock who teach you how to do that transition. It doesn't make it that hard. Also, again, using trending songs. So if you stalk your reel button, you'll kind of see the same things pop up and you can just save them and come back to them later. And again, I would remind you to set a timer so you don't start scrolling hours and hours and hours. It sounds like someone's unmuted. There you go. And then post to your Instagram stories. So once you make a reel, you can do the little share button like you would do a regular post, and it'll share to your Instagram stories. And then those views that people watch will count as views for that reel. Also using hashtags. Either you can use them in the caption or the comments, but up to 30 hashtags that again, bring in who you are as a person. What's your brand? They should pertain to what that reel is about, not just like random, but they should pertain to what you're talking about. And I like to put them personally in the comments, but again, it doesn't matter. The way that I do hashtags now, I use an app called HishHash, HISHHASH. It's like a hashtag sign. It's light pink on your app store. It's free. And you can kind of batch create different hashtags. So like I'll have one that's like my brand. I have one that's for Instagram Reels. I have one that's, you know, more about health and fitness. So there's kind of different ones I can create. I can put 30 in there. And when you type in one that you like a hashtag you like, it'll kind of give you ideas of ones that are similar to that. And then it just saves them. So when I go to the app, you can click on it. I can show you guys this later too. It's pretty user friendly, but you click on it and then you press shuffle and it copies them. And then you just copy and post it on that post. It's super simple. I used to hate hashtags because I have to like go in my notes section, find them. And I was like super against it. So I'm like, I never click on hashtags. But I found my new 1-star diamond coach through a hashtag. And now I will never not use hashtags because I'm like, it worked for one person. I will keep doing it. So don't be scared of hashtags, but find something that's going to be easy for you. So maybe it is putting them in your notes section so you can copy and paste. Do that. But make sure that you are putting those on your reels and your posts. And then always end with like a call to action. You know, like, you know, if you related to this, share this to your best friend, or like this post so you can see more, save this recipe for future date night, whatever. Have that call to action, have your audience do something. So like we talk about call to actions in our posts, like this if you want, or, you know, like drop an emoji if you want me to send you the link, whatever that looks like. Same thing on your Instagram reels, whether you put that in the caption or you put it in like the last clip and it has like a little writing. Either way, making sure that you have that call to action. Like Bonnie, keep unmuting. Just kidding. How to add to your market. So this is something that I feel like it's kind of a topic that a lot of people think of. And I mean, I feel indifferent about it. Like I would never tell you to go follow a ton of people and then unfollow them, but I still constantly am following at least 200, upwards of 500 people a day, based off those hashtags, based off friends of friends. And I just kind of get down a rabbit hole. But then I think the biggest part that people get a bad rap about that is because they don't go and connect with them after. They're just fishing for people to follow them back instead of starting to create those genuine connections with those people. So you can't worry so much about what your ratio is. You really have to do it for the serving mindset of like, I am doing this so that I could go find my ideal person. You can unfollow down the road. Maybe it's people that you don't necessarily, you know, like your, what's it called, least interacted with. Maybe you go through and you unfollow some of those people on Instagram, but I really want you to focus on just the connection piece, just serving those people no matter what, because that's where you're going to find your ideal person. When they know that you matter and that you care about them, they're not going to be so worried about this random person following them on Instagram. They're going to realize you have so much value to offer, but that's because you have to keep producing good content. If you're producing content once a week that like is look at me, then it's going to be really hard for these people to want to follow you back. If they go to your page and you have nothing on your Instagram stories, then they're going to be like, well, what is this girl doing? Right? What is she going to help me with? So if your content is sucking, who cares how many people follow you, right? You have to be willing to put in the work right now to make your content a little bit better, to be a little bit more social on social media, be willing to put in that effort to make an Instagram reel, even if it feels awkward, because I promise it will get easier, but you have to start and you have to try. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the amount of people that sign up, but you can control the message that you portray and the light that you share every single day. During probably the hardest time on social media in, November of 2020, a lot of controversy, a lot of stuff going down on social media that most people were gone. No one wanted to be a part of that. But I chose the path of like, I am not going to engage. I'm going to be the light that someone wants to come to my page and see a little bit of happiness. They can take a recipe away. They can find my video to be funny, whatever it is. I did not choose the path of getting sucked down and saying social media sucks. I chose the path of being the light, and I just consumed less, right? So you have to make sure that you're creating more than you're consuming. Otherwise, again, you're going to feel like social media is a job that you don't want to show up to, that you're trying to leave the job you don't like. And now you don't like this one either. And then you just let Beachbody go to wayside because you're scared of social media. So make sure that you can control what you can control. And that's just the message that you're portraying and the light that you share every day. So go up at it as connecting, engaging, and being that true human that you are. So as soon as someone follows me, I always, send them a welcome message. So whatever it might look like, I change it every once in a blue moon. Honestly, it's usually the same, but hey, blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much for the follow. I truly appreciate the support. Where are you from? That question, where are you from, has been working so well for me. Just getting a comment back. For a while, I used to be like, are you on a health and fitness journey too? And that person would be like, is this girl going to try and sell to me on the first message? So now I can kind of connect to where they're from. Because a lot of times I'm following people from Oregon that's where I went to school. And so I can kind of connect on different areas in Oregon, or maybe it's my hometown, or maybe it's Arizona, or maybe it's physical therapy students and where they're going to school. But now I can kind of start that conversation and connect with them so that they know we have something in common, that they don't just have to run away because they think they're going to get sold to. Then, they're continuously watching my stories, they're liking my posts. That's when I maybe will send them an invite. Hey, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you so much for supporting my content and following my page. I know some girls like to just follow along for some fun and are interested in what I do. But don't be nervous to reach out, whatever it looks like. Can I send you information, or can I send you a sample workout? Whatever your invite looks like. If you didn't watch the National Wake Up Call this week from Holly, it was gold. I'm like, I'll do whatever Holly says. I'm like, okay, I'm there. But she uses a lot of voice memos. She uses a lot of a voice memo or a video message. And I think that's super important that we realize, if you're not there yet, feeling comfortable enough to do that, that's okay, because we've all been there. But realizing that's the next goal. If you can send 10 voice memos that really connect to your audience, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're starting PT school too. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm so glad I have this health plan, fitness plan that's already set in stone. Is that something that you'd want to check out? Or could I send you a sample workout, because you could do it from your apartment? And I know we're not going to have a ton of time between studying, right? So it's connecting to back what they maybe said to me, but then still inviting them. And then I always follow up depending on what it looks like. It really depends on the person too. Every month I will send them an invite if they're continuously watching. But if it's someone that's yeah, I'm interested, I send them info, I'll check in the next day. It really just depends, circumstance by circumstance, when I'm going to follow up, but they get written down on a list right away. They're either in my Google spreadsheet or my Rise Up planner, and they're highlighted. I'm like, you're checking in tomorrow with this person, follow up till the day you die. And I think that's sometimes why we feel like Success Club kind of comes easier for coaches that have been in here longer, that are consistently doing their business activity tracker, because I have so many people in my pipeline that I know I'm going to hit Success Club 5 by the 5th of the month, because I know I have people to follow up from the next month. But if you're not constantly doing that tracker and adding new people and then connecting with them and then inviting them and then having people to follow up with, it gets really hard and you feel desperate. You feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find 3 people this month? That seems so stressful. And you work yourself up. Then when you show up on social media, you feel like you have an agenda. I have to make this story so that somebody votes on it so that I can get somebody else to be interested. And that's not fun. I always want to go back to social media should be fun. It really shouldn't be something that stresses you out. It should be something that you're excited to show up to every single day, because it's your people. It's your next person that you can change their life. But only if you make that shift in your mind that it's not overwhelming. It's something that I get to go meet new people every single day. That's when that shift really happened for me. So my 3 biggest tips would be: change the way you post. Ask yourself, is this looking at me look at me, I lost this weight, or I did this? Or is it, let me serve you? Let me help you get to that next benchmark. Let me help you on your fitness journey. Let me motivate you, educate you, whatever it is. Post for that reason. And then ask yourself, have I, shared some strong call to actions this week? Have I guided my audience to go take some action? Have I posted shareable content that someone would send to their best friend? If you're not posting some like funny little, story or post, maybe it's a quote and maybe someone was like, oh my God, that was hilarious, I need to send that to my best friend. That's when your engagement's going to go up. Okay. And then having people have people really been able to see who you are as that person. I think sometimes we kind of cover up and we only share what we want to share. And that's totally fine. But you got to be able for people to meet you in real life and know who you are. I think that's one of my favorite compliments. And I'm sure if you've ever been to a live event, that's probably yours too, is you are just like you are on social media. I was so scared or blah, blah, blah. I have met plenty of coaches where I'm like, you are not what you portray on social media. And I never want to be that person. So I try and be that, real person. I'm goofy. I'm funny. I share the good, the bad, the ugly, and the daily life. And I am able to draw into that person's emotions. I'm able to create that relationship when somebody doesn't even know me yet. They feel like they know me. And then using your stories as a tool to effectively captivate your audience like they are your BFF on FaceTime. If you have a hard time talking to your phone because you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to stumble over my words when I do my Instagram stories, you got to get rid of it, because that is what's going to, captivate your audience, is you speaking to that phone like it's your best friend on FaceTime. Because who cares? You got to rip the Band-Aid off and do it, because that's what's working. Your voice converts 80% more, and just make that number up. I have seen that number, but 80% higher than, just posting some graphics and hoping someone reads it. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You are so much more than a swipe up link or, here's my 15% off code. You are so much more than that. Are you asking your audience those engaging questions, asking for their opinions? Oh my gosh, my engagement when we bought the house and I was asking for paint colors and couch suggestions, all this stuff, there was hundreds of people replying every day, and my engagement was through the roof. But then when I go back to just sharing my fitness journey, my engagement goes back down, and I realize that. And so I have to go back to, okay, I have to ask my, audience questions besides just health and fitness. Got to go find ways that I can connect with them. And then another tool that I feel like people don't use enough is screen recording. So either screen recording, checking in with your containers throughout the day, showing that we have that nutrition tracking, or just showing what we have in our challenge groups and what a challenge group looks like, and sharing that on our story. Because a lot of people don't know what it means when you say I'm going to check in with you, or you're going to get accountability. They're like, what does that look like? But if you share your challenge group by a screen recording, they're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. So that's a tool that I feel like is kind of underused, but is super effective, because they really get to see the depth behind Beachbody On Demand and all that it has to offer. So last thing is that you're in control of the conversation. So ask the questions, right? Engage with that audience, handle the objections. So if you're talking to someone, ask them why they want to start a health and fitness journey. What is intriguing to them? Handle the objections, add value, be the light. This is not just for a sale. This is not just so I can get Success Club points. That's not getting your booty up out of bed at 4 a.m. to work your business for Success Club points. It's not, right? The biggest compliment I can ever receive in this business is, you inspired me so much. And I want that to just go through your ears, is that you want someone to be like, you inspired me to do blah, 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 blah. It's the best compliment. And if you're not showing up on social media in hopes of inspiring someone to take action or do something in their life that they've been wanting to do, what is your purpose? Go back to your why and dig deeper, because that's what's going to help you get up in the morning. Yes, I have a big vision goal and I have, all the little things that I want, but none of that matters when it comes down to serving your audience and being there for them every step of the way. So I will open it up to questions if anyone has any. Let's see. Should you delete the reels you make on Instagram after a while? No, honestly, it doesn't matter, because you're constantly making new content that it doesn't matter if you have old reels up there that aren't right exactly what I was just talking about, because that's content that you shared. But from now on, go at it with a purpose. So I think sometimes people, like, in the beginning when you're a brand new coach and I see like you only have 3 posts and someone comes to your page, they're like, okay, what's your credibility? You're brand new. So the more that you can kind of post and have content for people to see, the more credibility you really have. And they can see like, oh, okay, she's been doing this for a month. She's been doing this for 2 months. And they start to realize like you kind of know what you're talking about. And that's really what you want. Hish hash. Yeah, you got that right, Heather. Any other questions?
Come on, guys. I know you have questions. I have quite a few pages of notes, Maddie. You wrapped that. You always do.
I saw you writing. I was like, oh, I can teach someone something new. That's always the best.
He's writing an essay about something.
Heather's over here cooking and writing.
No, I think reels are where it's at.
Payne's new baby.
You guys, oh, Payne, yeah. I think you guys really need to capitalize on sharing the shareable content, right? Where it's like, send it to a friend, share it. So recipes are good, quick little workout snippets. And then, like Maddie said, have the call to action to ask, you know, say, share this with a friend, or don't forget to click save and save it for when you want to make this recipe. I know I do that a lot on my recipes and that works well, but if you don't remind them or tell them to click save, they don't do it, right? So you have to have those call to actions in there. So when you do your picture, how do you decide what to take? What do you mean, Victoria, when you do your pictures? Guys, quiet. Sorry, my kids are over there.
I was like, elaborate.
Clear it up. When you do your pictures. Content photos.
Just like of myself most of the time. Like, I feel like if someone were to look at my phone, they'd be like, you're obsessed with yourself, because there's literally so many photos, like photos. Like, I feel like, oh, you know, like one selfie might take me 12 tries, but even if I post it now and then I post it in 2 months, they're not even gonna be able to see it because they're not gonna scroll to see that same photo. So that's okay. But most of the time it's me with like makeup on, and then I'll just like change my shirt a couple times. And maybe I'm sharing a recipe. Maybe I'll go in the kitchen and I'll be around whatever ingredients that I was using. Or if it's a sweaty selfie, like I'll be in my sports bra in my gym with my light and next to the window, and I'll maybe hold a dumbbell, or maybe I'm, you know, whatever it looks like. But I really kind of mix and match. Like I just have a bunch of different random ones that I can use at all times. But one of the biggest things is just getting to a live event so that you can have photos surrounded by your team is huge. I think that was one of the biggest shifts I had, was when I first got to that cruise. That was like really the first time I've been at a Beachbody event like that and around our team. And that was where people looked and they're like, okay, what she does is a real thing. Like, this isn't just her on social media by herself. She has a team and a community. And I think that was one of the biggest differences. And that ever since then, I felt like my business had just been rolling and rolling and rolling. So yeah, save ideas to your archives. True. Very true. I always do that. Any other questions? It doesn't have to be about social media. Are you trying to unmute, Marie?
Oh, Marie's trying. You're not unmuted. All right, I don't have host, so there you go.
Oh, there you go. You're good.
Okay, it would be easier to unmute. I was going to type in the chat, but ideas on, so I need to start adding to my followers and start searching in new areas. I was going to ask your advice on like, how do you find your 200 people a day? And how do you like, yeah, tell me about that.
So I think something that I always like to say is like, I still do add people on Facebook. So maybe that 200 is a mix of Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook is not dead. It's still very much alive. And most of the time for me, it takes a little bit longer because you do have to kind of see who those mutual friends are. Like if they're other Beachbody coaches, like obviously I'm not going to follow them. But on Instagram, the easiest way for me is really friends of friends. So I go back to like, I know you guys are all really like in the same community, so it is tougher. But like college friends, like I look at college friends and then their friends who like that photo and then their friends. So I'm like way over here. But also like where you live, like local coffee shops, restaurants, and then also just like what you're into, I think is sometimes harder because it takes a while to get to an account that doesn't seem like it has a million bazillion followers. But once I find that account that I'm like, wow, that maybe took me 10 minutes to get to this person, but I'm like, they are me, then I save them. So that next time that I go add followers, I just can go to that one and then kind of work from there. That makes sense. But like one of my favorite hikes in Scottsdale is where I found like one person that has been one of my diamond coaches, like just random places like that. So I feel like I kind of mix it up, but oftentimes it's like somebody that watches my stories all the time. Like I'll just click on their photo and I'm like, well, if you're not ready, I'm going to go stalk your friends, see if your friends are ready. And then I'll just kind of start connecting with them. But the biggest thing is like, once you do that, you go look at who you just follow, like the latest people you followed, which you can sort on Facebook and Instagram. And then I go and connect with them. I like a few of their photos. I genuinely comment on one. And that genuine comment most of the time has a question, but also sometimes like if it's just someone like smiling and she's super cute, like I'm just going to put like gorgeous because that's what I would say to my friend. Sometimes I think we overcomplicate it and we feel like we have to write a novel on their photo, but it's like, I feel like sometimes that would be weird. Like if my friend was like, oh my gosh, Maddie, da 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 da, like they would just message me and say that, So like sometimes I think we overcomplicate how much we have to say on their post, but like making sure that they know you're there. And then maybe if you want to, message them and be like, oh my gosh, where is that shirt from? And your last photo is super cute. That might seem more authentic to you. Like you just kind of have to do place by place, but I cannot stress how much the connection piece is what makes that worth it. Because if you just follow 200 people, it's literally the biggest waste of time because maybe you get one person that follows you back. But if you actually like, they see your name pop up, then they'll come look at your page and then they'll follow you back. And that has been way more worth my time.
Marie, did you
give you some ideas?
A wake up call?
Yeah.
Did you watch how Holly Hilliard did?
Yeah, I listened to it in the.
Yeah, same thing. She does like, and then DM them a question like, oh, if it was a hike, right? Because that's my people. I'm always talking about hiking or liking hikers. I'm like, did you like that hike? What was the trailhead like? What was the terrain like? And then they're all about giving their opinion back. And so I know those are my people. And then I search their friends, right? So Holly Hillier hit it on the head with like, don't just like and comment, like on a 3, 2, 1 messaging. Send a question about one of their posts. Like, oh my gosh, your last hike was gorgeous. How long did it take you? Or, whatever their picture's about. And then Julia had a question. Have you invited many new PTs? How does that look or how does it go for you?
Personal trainers and PT, like physical therapists, honestly, like I think it's hard. Like they all have an ego, just like all of it. Like I had an ego. Like I didn't think I'd ever do this, like you think you know everything. Like I had one girl that was like, I'm already paying $100,000 in school to be a physical therapist. I don't understand why that would need to pay for a challenge pack. And I'm like, you won't know until you do it, and I don't hound it too much. I honestly just keep sharing what I would normally do. Sometimes it's a little bit tougher now. Like we can't share income progressions or anything like that. And like, to me, that would have been like, if this girl's making as much as a PT does and she's not even in school, like, can you imagine? Like that would be like, I need to do what she's doing. And sometimes it's like, oh, it hurts so much that I can't share that. But I honestly, like, sometimes I think those people are the hardest. And so if they come around, they come around. Like I've sent sample workouts to my future classmates, but I also don't want to like feel like I'm like, how, like I get there and like, oh my God, it's that girl that's been messaged, like I don't want to be that person, but I want them to realize that they can always come to me and I'm going to keep sharing what I normally share. And if they're liking coach posts, I would invite them to coaching and watch my webinar like everybody else does. But I don't necessarily only target them. I do have a lot of like students, which a lot of their things, like I know they'll join me eventually. But I just don't have a timeline and an agenda. And that's really where everything in my business, like I didn't have like, if this doesn't happen by this date, I'm going to throw in the towel. And that's just really what I have with connections and following people. Like I follow them. Maybe someone takes 3 years, maybe someone takes 3 hours of following me and they want to do it. Like I can't decide for them, but all I can do is just keep showing up and showing what works for me and, you know, being that light. And if they choose to run with it, they run with it. But that's always a hard slippery slope. Like you can ask any like personal trainer, like, what's her name? Jamie Innes too. Like a lot of these top coaches, like it takes a lot of time for that person to understand like what the value of Beachbody on top of what you already do actually like, you know, can completely change. But yeah, it's tough. That's just probably my short answer. It's not easy, but it'll be worth it when they figure it out.
I thought that was a perfect.
Any other question?
There was a girl on Instagram today that was like, the gimmick of coaching. If you are listening to someone who says that anyone can be a coach, you need to reevaluate. And boy, did I send her a message immediately. Like, hater gonna hate was what I sent her. And I just told her as a personal trainer myself, like, you have no idea the opportunity you're missing, being as I can only be on the floor for so many hours a day training, where I make residual income now and make way more than I ever would in the gym. So before you hate on what we're doing, you do you, boo, and I'll do me. She wasn't even talking to me. She showed up in my feed and I just couldn't bite my tongue. So that is how I handle the PTs. Like they come around or they don't. But I do end up getting a few. So
yeah, and that's always my thing is like, you only can serve who's in your local area. You can't reach 4 countries with personal training. Like you just can't, unless you're going to put in the time to create your own program that's going to take years and years and years and years and a ton of freaking money.
And there's only 24 hours.
That's not what I want. So.
Even if you work at 24-hour fitness,
yeah.
you only train 24 people in a day, 1 hour session. Even at $100, it's only $2,400.
Victoria's cracking me up.
Her kids. I know the kid thing. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? Otherwise, I will grab a picture and we'll jam out. Go ahead, Heather. I see you. You have a question?
Okay, there we go. Sorry, life is happening here. I was wondering, when you're following like 200 people a day, how are you tracking that many people, following up with that many people when, I mean, our seasons of life are quite different, but like I only have like this amount of time and I'm trying to add people, but it's like, I literally have to do a power hour.
Yeah. So what I do is I only do 50 at a time. So every time I do 50, I just, in my planner, I do a tally. So my goal is to get to 4 tallies a day. So like if I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm hiding, then I would just do, like follow 50 people, count to 50, and then I'll get out of the bathroom, write my tally, and then go on with whatever else I have to do. And then during my power hour, maybe I only do 50 during that 1 power hour, but then I just do another tally. And I really, like, I don't track that. I track how many I do. But then when I go into that connecting piece, like that's where I'm spending so much of my time. And if you don't feel like you have people to invite, I'm just constantly like, right now, I feel like I'm in a season of like, all right, need some fresh people. I'm spending like probably 60 to 70% of my power hour just on connecting. Like I'm not sending as many invites as I used to, but it's working better because I actually have something to talk about with that person. So I just do it in really quick increments of 50 and then tally 50 tally. If I get to 200, great. If I don't, at least I'm better than if I never did it at all and like wasn't intentional. Cause I used to not count at all. Cause I'd be like, that's so overwhelming. And then I wouldn't do, and I would never know how many I did, just kind of like invites. Like then you look back and you're like, oh my God, I only sent 12. I thought I sent 30. It felt like it took forever. And then your business can't really be trackable. So I would just do 50 tally and then see where you get.
And then how do you decide when they go on your list? Because that's just following. So that doesn't,
Yeah.
I mean, in my book, that doesn't like qualify as something I need to write down.
True.
So at what point do you, I mean, going back and following up with all of those, you just use your,
Usually it's, I will
sort by
connect
recent.
first. So usually I connect first. And then if there's somebody that I'm like, wow, she's literally my person, I'll save her. Like save that one photo that's clear of her. And like, I have collections, which is like a whole nother call. But I have collections of like, everyone's like A, B, C, D, and I'll save it to there. So when I go into connect, all people in that collection that says letter A, and then I will do B and then C, whatever. But I don't really write them down, which I liked Holly's way of doing it because I think that's something that would be super beneficial. So like just at least having a spreadsheet that like that person followed me back and I feel like we would have something in common so I could put them on that connection list. Victoria cracking me up. But that's more or less kind of how I don't know, like I really don't track too hard unless it's someone I really set information to. Because sometimes like when I'm connecting, like I'm not by paper, I'm not by my computer, I'm just like, you know, like picking up the kid from daycare and like da 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 da. Like I'm just like in weird moments where I can't write down what I'm doing. But if I'm sending someone information, I screenshot it so that I can go back later and make sure that they're on my list.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then when you're onboarding like a ton of people every month, so you obviously have a very good onboarding system. So that's probably like a whole nother call. But anyway, it's
Flowdesk is still works for me. Whatever, I don't know. It hasn't kicked me off yet. But I just add them to like a funnel. But I also been using it's called Reach. It's a free texting app. And I just like once they join, I put them into that as like a client or coach or whatever. And then I can like text them and follow up. But I also like on the new, sorry, I'm just like all over the place. On the business activity tracker on the back office, the digital one, there is like where it says Shakeology follow-up, which I think I need to start using because it is so crucial when that person gets their bag of Shakeology that you like help them make it, because I think that is like detrimental for them reordering or not. And so if you can like write in there when they signed up, which I write in my Rise Up planner, the day someone signs up, if I add them to my bod group, then my flow desk, and then I get them added to a group text. So like whoever starts at the same time, they're all in a group text together, which now I'm using Reach. So it's a little bit different. And then I send them a welcome package and I just like check it off. And that's really how I onboard. I'm kind of all over the place, but I really like judge it off what that person's like. Like if that person's like, I'm ready to roll, like I'm on their ass. But if that person's just like, I want to start on my journey, like, okay, cool. Like I'll write down that you're maybe interested in coaching, but like, I want you to focus on your journey in 30 days so that it comes more naturally to jump into coaching. Whereas like, you don't feel like you're pressured to sign up your spouse that first day if they're like gonna quit on me because they're so nervous about that stuff. So like I just kind of judge it off what they're feeling like. But onboarding, I can talk to you at a different time too, Heather, because it's a lot. Like the month of SC60, I thought I was gonna die. So I don't know how people do SC200. I would die, like literally would blow my brains out. But that's just like, I feel like once I hit that, I was like, I don't want to do that again. I like more connection based and I love like really knowing my people. And like, I hate when I have to ask someone 2 times, like what program they're doing. Like, I like to know, like in my head, I just feel like that's more genuine and authentic and to who I am. So I think I did it. And I was like, all right, I don't think I need to onboard 30 people in a month again. But that's just where I was at. Anything else? Take a picture. Oh, Katrina. Oh,
Yeah.
ask me if you're frozen. Oh.
an unrelated question when everyone else is done, if no one has any
Okay,
questions.
smile. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, take a picture quick.
Good job. Okay, go.
You're so lagged. I don't even know if it's working. Go ahead, Julia.
I was just wondering if you'd be willing to get on a call at some point and just talk about like PT school, everything PT kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Just
Okay.
message me on Instagram or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Or I can text you my number or something. Yeah, I'm for sure. It's a terrible process. I hate it. Haven't even started. I'm terrified. It's okay. We'll get there. One step at a time. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Maddie, for your time. We love you. Everybody have a great night, and we will chat soon. Bonnie, we'll be in touch for your meetup. Glad you hopped on, girlfriend. Have a good night, everyone.